You're still watching the City of Lagos TV show. This is, of course, one platform that is projecting the themes agenda of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, from all ramifications. And of course, this is a segment, the Lagos State Agencies in Focus. And of course, one agency that is committed to achieving efficient waste management system in the city of Lagos is the Lagos State Waste Management Authority, LAWMA. So it's my pleasure to welcome the Managing Director, CEO of the Lagos Waste Management Authority, LAWMA, Honorable Ambassador Ibrahim Adejuwon Odumboni. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
So quickly, let's look at the LAWMA Waste Management Strategic Master Plan. To a large extent, this agency has been able to work towards the fulfillment of the team's agenda of Mr. Governor. But let's share the master plan, the strategic master plan for waste management in Lagos.
Thank you very much. I think way before now, the master plan of Lagos Waste Management Authority was drawn way back in 2003 by the current governor, then Commissioner of Environment, and the current PS. Coincidentally, the three of them were involved. And that waste management plan has carried us over the last 20 years. And I'm glad to tell you that we are in the process of finalizing on the next one that will take us into the next 20 years. So in this conversation, I'll probably share with you a little bit of some of the things that we're looking at in the plan, and then reflecting on some of the key successes of the master plan that was developed in 2003 and where it's taking us to now, and how the agency, LAWMA, have been able to perform its expectation from the executive arm of the government and every other residents in Lagos to delivering a sustainably clean Lagos environment. So first and foremost, if you look at the master plan we have now, we have to look at waste from the beginning to the end, from point of generation, separation, aggregation, collection, then look at the disposal, treatment, then we now look at waste to wealth, waste to energy, and some of the other end of the waste chain that creates value. Previously, waste, like we always say in the waste sector, the waste is not a waste until it's fully wasted, and we always question where the full waste will come from. Because what we count as waste to some other person is probably a resource. And we've tried to create a chain whereby that continues to grow. We want to be able to create a time whereby we'll be able to achieve a zero waste. And the only way we can achieve zero waste is when all our waste have maybe a sector or a unit that takes that and use that as a resource to be able to produce something that is reusable. So over the next couple of years, you see a lot of focus on recycling, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So just making sure that there's a complete circular economy going on in the space of waste management. You also see a lot on containerization of waste, because we know fully well that when waste is well managed, when it's well containerized. So the aim is to ensure that every household, every businesses, every public spaces have a waste bin, a bin for the collection of waste, pending the time it's being collected for further processing. Another part that we've done over the last 2 years that we are going to drive more on is education and awareness and what is needed before you start going into any other form of enforcement and co. Because you need to educate, raise the awareness, and ensure that people are given a much more viable environment to do the right thing before you start picking up the ones that are not doing the right thing. And also, I want to say that the state, through the legislative arm and the judiciary arm, have given us a lot of support over the last couple of years, and more of that is coming in the next waste management plan. And what that will involve is the speed of enforcement will be faster, quicker. So our assembly members are going to help us look at our laws, our APML law, to make sure that it's watertight and is effective for every one of us to do the right thing at the first time. And also the judiciary arm will be there to give us more special courts, more magistrate courts that can listen to environmental related offenses so that we can deter people from doing the wrong thing from time to time. So a lot of things coming up that way. But also part of the major reform is for our PSP to look at capitalization and how are we going to support them as a government. Governor Sanwo-Olu made a promise to them when LAWMA was giving operational vehicles in 2021 that we are going to support them to change their fleet. And I'm happy to tell you that our budget this year reflects that. It reflects that governor's promise and intention, because it's our talk and do governor. He says something, he does it straight away. So we've got it in our plan to ensure that the empowerment and the capitalization and support for our PSP is in our plan this year. And our aim is to start with a significant volume, more than what LAWMA had before, and then start to change all those trucks so that we have brand new PSP trucks that will reduce emission, our climate change goal. At the same time, have a truck that has a more efficiency and last longer. To be able to go to various communities, we are going to cater for trucks that can go some of the areas that could be found challenging before. So all those things have been taken into account. But all in all, I believe with the support that the agency gets from the executive arm, the legislative arm, and the judiciary arm, we are well positioned to take Lagos on that 20 years journey from the new waste management plan.
MD, you've actually, to a large extent, been able to make some giant strides as the managing director of LAWMA. So can you just catalog the major significant achievements and accomplishments of this agency?
So for me, I think choosing one as the most significant is a tough call. But in terms of my management skill, capability, and person, I'll probably say the people side of it is the biggest change. So if you look at LAWMA as an agency, a lot have changed in terms of staff welfare, a lot have changed in terms of people. So now we have a lot of stakeholders in the business. We call ourselves family members, a lot of heroes. Now we've grown our sweepers from below 10,000. Now we are now in the 17,000 plus bracket. We have been able to provide a job for youths in the riverine areas where they are now managing our marine services with over 400 employed. And in the recycling sector, Governor Sanwo-Olu has formalized recycling, and now we have over 12,500 youths working in that sector as well. So, and then we continue to see a growth in our PSP. Their volume has gone from 327 to 450 something now, and still counting. And that's a significant investment in the sector. We also look at things that we've done in terms of people, capacity building, development. That has gone a very long way. The LAWMA staff, the informal sector that supports us, and also our vendors, our PSPs, our CEOs and co. So over the last couple of years, we've been able to touch on every part to ensure that we have built their capacity. We have done a capacity assessment. We have also done empowerment assessment in terms of what they need to be in a very good space to provide a good service to our people. But nevertheless, don't let us forget some of the achievements and things we've done, like LAWMA Academy. At the beginning of this administration, we had about 3 recyclers, and now we're talking about almost 170 recyclers. And then we've seen the value of plastic and plastic pollution is reducing day by day. We also seen the decentralization of our operation. We've completely decentralized our operation. So now we don't just have one LAWMA that operates from Otedola, our HQ. We have LAWMA in 6 districts. And then it makes sure that people have direct access to LAWMA within a 2-mile radius of where they are, where we have the district head operating in their district. We also look at our own technology when it comes to engineering base. We fabricated our own bins. Before, the organization used to buy bins from outside. Now our market bins are double diagonal bins through the support of Mr. Governor and his encouragement and his tutelage as well. The bins we're talking about, the big giant bins that you see in the market. Normally we have to go and get them in Europe. It costs about $15,000 for them to get them. And then you have to wait for haulage, time, arrival, clearing. But now we're able to make and fabricate all of them in this compound in Jora. So we did about over 100, and we're able to engage over 400 local welders to come in and work on them. And that shows that we've created something ourselves, and we've been able to manage it since then at a much more cheaper cost. We also look at education and awareness. A lot have grown. We've gone to various communities to do advocacy. Last year, we're in over 30 LCD and local government talking to them about waste management, and that will continue this year as well. We are partnered with Subeb. We are teaching waste management in primary school curriculum for 30 minutes a week. Well done to Honorable Alawiye King for helping us and partnering with us to be able to make that happen. And also we look at things like what we've done in terms of our research and development. Our current governor was able to help us bring back some of the old developmental things that LAWMA was doing, like the resuscitation of our briquette plants at Agbawa that's turned sawdust to brick that can be used as a fuel in the future. So that was brought back by Governor Sanwo-Olu. He gave us all what is needed for us to look at that technology and then localize it so that when the time comes and our Timberville village is up and running, we are ready for them as an agency. Then also we have the compost plant in Odonguyo, where we are making about 500 bags of fertilizer on a daily basis at the back of our market waste and abattoir waste around the Kurudu axis. And that is something that I know that in our future plan we want to replicate so that they can be in various parts. There's nothing wrong in it being in all the senatorial districts in Lagos, where we can then start to capture some of our organic waste and turn it into something that can be used by our farmers to produce food. So a lot of things have been done in that on that space, but most importantly, like you said, is the people side, because the people actually makes the agency.
In case you just join us, this is Lagos State Agencies in Focus, and we're speaking with the Managing Director of LAWMA. MD, LAWMA Academy is the educational arm of LAWMA that engages innovative approach. And of course, to a large extent, also support corporate personal development and drive social responsibility among the citizens. To what extent have you been able to actualize this mandate for the LAWMA Academy?
For LAWMA Academy, the LAWMA Academy is one of the ideas that I came up with since I assumed the office as the MD of the organization. And it's something that I noticed a gap between, and I was not a waste manager by trade initially, but now I could be cast as maybe a senior student in waste management. So how did I get through that journey? It was quite tough, and I felt that if somebody else out there is willing to come and join the waste sector, I want to kind of simplify it and also try to use education and awareness, correct some of what we call the abnormal norms around our environment. And that's what the LAWMA Academy has come about. And it's done well beyond expectation. We do 10 interns on a monthly basis. We've done 2 goods command schools with about 150 students each. We've had corporate bodies come in and learn and trade. And then some of our new PSPs or recyclers that are onboarding, we are training them before they go out there. Then it's also help in terms of medical waste management, where we are training different hospitals and different people in the medical sector, healthcare sector, on how to best manage their waste. And also, we've gone in partnership with Lagos State University, University of Lagos, Safe Environment in the UK, and a couple of universities in the UK and the US as well, to be able to work on giving a certified accreditation document for people that are doing certificate courses or diploma courses in there. So it's something that has been encouraging. And then also, more importantly, when it comes to partnership, and also for us helping other states. We've helped over 7 states over the last 3 years to start their own kind of LAWMA formation. And LAWMA Academy have taken them through that journey because it gives them the background, and then they'll be able to learn from some of our past mistakes, some of our future projections, and they are setting up. And I'm very proud that the opportunity that the governor, our Governor Oyedepo, has given us, we've been able to pass it on to other states in the country. And then we are very confident that as LAWMA Academy continues to grow as a force citadel of learning for solid waste management in Nigeria and across West Africa, will definitely be bigger, stronger, and much more of an institute in the future where a lot of research can be done. So they're doing a lot of things to look into the future now, and that's what we really need. So LAWMA Academy have started looking into one thing that everybody keep asking: waste to energy, when are we going to have it? So LAWMA Academy is doing an in-depth research into what are the T's we need to cross and the I's we need to dot before we get to that waste to energy.
All right. As a follow-up to that question, an agency of this nature wouldn't have been able to achieve some of these giant strides without collaborators, without stakeholders, both locally and internationally. So who are your collaborators, both locally and internationally, agencies, organizations that have been able to also support your initiative?
Our biggest collaborator is our parent ministry, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, led by our Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Tunji, and also our PS, Mr. Dr. Mbolaji Gaji. So like I mentioned earlier, they were part of, coincidentally, 20 years ago, they were part of the people that wrote this waste management plan. So it makes life easier for us, and we have been having a smooth sailing. But Ministry of Environment as a whole, as the policy formulator, and they've been able to guide us in that space. And another key collaborator that I must mention is, if you look at the legislative arm, we have the chairman of the Committee for Environment, Honorable Desmond Elliott, and also the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Siwa Basa, has been very supportive. But if you don't want to look at the extended stakeholders, apart from our PSPs, who are a major player in the field as well, they've carried this sector for a while. It's been tested and proven, and they are doing a very good job. We now have recyclers joining them. Now we have Food and Beverage Alliance, which is all the producers like Coca-Cola and other NGOs. Almost all the corporate banks have always been supportive. People like State Bank and First Bank, they've done a lot in kitting our sweepers, and FCMB as well for providing uniform for some of our operatives that are working in various fields. And they also help us in starting our initiative. So, for example, it would have been difficult without the support of Access Bank to commence LAWMA Academy. So they also supported to give us a push and see where we are now with LAWMA Academy. And we continue to extend that support and that general stakeholdership, because like they say, Lagos is a Jumoshi. But when it comes to waste management, everybody is involved. It doesn't matter where you're from, your tribe, where you live, which angle of Lagos you live, you will generate waste daily. And that waste is something that you have to interface with LAWMA. We are one of the agencies to reckon with in the country as a whole, because our responsibility is enormous and it continues to grow. But without the support of the executive arm, Mr. Governor and his team, it will have been very difficult, because waste is recurrent and it's an everyday thing.
Waste is an everyday thing. And considering the cosmopolitan nature of Lagos, as an agency, you have your challenges. What are these challenges, and how have you been able to surmount them?
The biggest challenge we have will be attitudinal change. Our people need to change their attitude, honestly. The money that we spend in waste management, if we all do the right thing, could be diverted into education, into health, into providing loads of other infrastructure. You can see the state coming up with rail system. Who says we can't get more than that? We can. But we need to cut our wastages and be able to do the right thing so that we can get better environment, better life, and better cosmopolitan city. Change your waste. You have to stop dumping waste indiscriminately. Pay your waste bill on time. We're in golden age now. This is not an age where you say, I don't pay anybody, I can't pay waste bill. No. As long as you can continue to live and wake up every day, it is a necessity that you pay your waste bill, just like taxes. It's something you have to put up with in our lifetime. Very important. And also, we also need to ensure that we look at the issue of containerization. That's another challenge that we face. How many households have there been in the state? We'll get to a time where you go to an household and you have color-coded bins all across. But what we're asking for now is for you to have a bin as a start. Have a starting point. Waste management is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You understand what I mean? So you have to be in stages. We cannot jump from zero waste management to 100% waste management. It's not going to happen like that. Don't sit there and wait for the government to provide you this bin. Government will provide an enabling environment. There are private vendors out there that are investing in bin production, bin importation, and co. But we need all the over 2 million households in Lagos to own a bin, and it will make life easier. We're going to save money. The money you use to buy malaria drugs, some of the other illnesses that can come from ineffective waste management, it will save that. So it's one challenge that every one of us must look into. Attitudinal change, containerization of waste, and doing the right thing the first time by ensuring that you patronize your PSP.
Data is very key for an agency of this nature. Collection and collation,
Yeah.
very fundamental. So, have you been able to generate very reliable, authentic data, helping you to achieve your set objectives?
The good thing is you won't be able to proper planning without research has its own challenges. So for us, some of the researches we've done is what is bringing about a lot of what our innovations or all our future plans have been. So we have a research and statistics unit, and we have the waste management development unit. So for example, we have statistics of how much waste is being disposed at our dump site over the last 20 years. That data is there. We have the ones on how many households are being enlisted per street. We have that as well. So data is very important. And that's why we came up with the fact that some of these little statistics that can be very useful for people out there in looking at what kind of waste does LAWMA deal with, what kind of enormous task do we do on a daily basis. So we have a city that has over 20 million residents, and we estimate that everybody will generate a minimum of 0.65 kg of waste daily as a bare minimum. And that's where we come up with our 13,000 plus metric ton of waste on a daily basis. We measure our collection rates on a monthly basis, and our aim is to take it from the lower bottom of having below and then be moving to the higher last quarter of the percentages. So I'm glad to say that we are well over 75% collection rates, and we are moving towards attaining a time whereby majority of the waste that generated daily are surrendered to us. In the past, we've had a 10% collection rate before. You had a lot of things before this administration, and those things are changing, and we continue to change that. So also, if you look at statistics for us, it is what informs us on some of the things that are being done outside Lagos and outside Nigeria in terms of waste management. And I can tell you, we're not far from some of these developed countries. They might have the technology that they use instead of human in some of the things that we do. But waste management is the same thing everywhere. It's just that technological advancements are different. Most people don't have a collection application for recyclable. We are the first in the world to have it. So there are some things in waste management that Lagos and LAWMA have been the first in the world to have. And those are the things that the administration of Governor Sanwo-Olu is very proud of. And that's the enabling environment. When our governor is talking about smart cities, smart Lagos, and people are asking the question, what does that mean? Those are the kind of things. You have to weigh beyond average.
Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is going for a second term. Of course, he's the man to beat. From all indication, this is one administration that wants to ensure sustainability to provide a greater Lagos for Lagosians. As the MD of LAWMA, how would you appraise Mr. Governor with regards to his support for LAWMA?
Oh, thank you very much. I think for me, appraising Governor on behalf of everybody in LAWMA on my own is not the appropriate thing to do. But if you look at the rally that we had on the 19th of January at Onitsha, that's what the proper appraisal was done. You can see a lot of people, including myself, in the stakeholder environment for waste management, willingly turning up to support a second term bid. And what that tells you is everybody came at will. We all came at will, because in waste management across the states, people knew what happened before now. So this sector, I've seen a tsunami before. And now it's a time that we've seen a lot of progress made to regenerate, re-engineer, and reposition LAWMA. And what we want is LAWMA to go forward. We don't want to go backward. We have about 40,827 direct stakeholders in this sector. And every one of us, including me, leading them, are put our weight behind Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, because he is the one that can take us to the next level that we are going to move into. Greater Lagos is rising, because definitely a greater LAWMA will come at that time, and that's what we are focusing on. And not to take away from us as well, you can see that majority of our activities, our development, our sector, our waste management sector, our PSP, were written initially during Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration as the governor of Lagos State, and that's why they were both supported. And our stakeholders across the states, on that day, we have various waste management partners that we have in different states in Nigeria came around. The waste managers were there, the marine boys were there, all the boys on the dump side, the bowler boys were there, the Shasha recycling boys were there, every waste policing were there, CPACU, everybody. That's just about 1/3 of us that were there. A re-election, knowing fully well that it's time. We have prospered, people have fostered, PSPs were down. They were down to almost like 90 something. The number of trucks we had were just below.
So what would be the area of consolidation, projections, future plans?
Area of projection of future plan for us would be, you are continuing to see a more consistently cleaner Lagos, and you see a more organized performance and optimization of efforts and job done by PSPs. You see, have every different places people complaining about it. They are not complaining about frequency of collection. They are complaining about pricing. They are complaining about things, and this at least is a very good starting point for us. Before now, all those were non-existent. So we can assure you that one of the key promises is all those will be aligned, even before the middle of this year. All those will be aligned as well, and then we can see a better welfare for our staff. Like we saw the governor has promised to increase the wages of all our participants in the sector, and we start to see a change in our sweepers are now earning 20% more than what they were earning before. And honestly, working in the waste management sector is a calling, and that's why the governor appreciates that, because it's part of the people that put this thing together, and that's the benefit that we are all reaping now in Lagos.
Managing Director, Lagos Waste Management Authority, LAWMA, has been our guest on the City of Lagos TV show. And so on a final note, MD, what's your word of assurance and encouragement to Lagosians and all stakeholders moving forward?
My point of message to Lagosians is for us all to always ensure we do the right thing the first time. If you do the right thing the first time, then you need to leave the rest for the Solid Waste Management Regulatory Agency, LAWMA. We are better positioned to provide an healthier environment, a positive climate change environment for you in Lagos. And also we want to reassure you that the performance of our PSP vendors, our sweepers out there, our collaborators out there will improve over the next coming months. And we also want to appreciate and give a vote of confidence to our governor for all he has done for us, and to also let him know that too much is given, much is expected. He should expect a much more better and stronger performance from us in the agency. We are all out there to bring a change to this environment, a change whereby Governor Olu has started this change, and it's about building from what we have and taking us to greater heights. And I'm quite confident that this administration will be able to do that.
It's obvious Lagosians are in for a better deal when it has to do with waste management in the city of Lagos. I want to thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much.
You've heard it all from the Managing Director. Waste management in Lagos has been taken to, of course, a greater height, bringing in cutting-edge technology to make our environment in Lagos safe. And so LAWMA, of course, is the big deal for all of us. And that's it on the City of Lagos TV show for now.